Okay guys, so for this one, you can read all you want, okay, but anytime you see two equations that are given to you, the first thing that you should do is go to your calculator and type them in, honestly. So the first one could be the y1, and so you could type this into y1, just pretend that that's a y, and then you could go and type this one into y2. So if you didn't do that, then go ahead and take a look at that. And what you're going to do is try to look at the graphs of these. Now, I can tell you right now, you're not going to see anything when you hit graph. It's going to look like this. So in order to be able to see what's going on, remember that I showed you there's a zoom 0 button. It's a zoom fit. And zoom fit's going to move the screen, so you will be able to see these two graphs. Oops, that's not at all what it'll look like. So somewhere after you do a zoom fit, you'll see a graph that looks kind of like that and a graph that looks kind of like that. The first one that's graphed will be this one that matches the F equation, and this one that's graphed will be the one that matches this G equation. So the first one will be lower than the second one, and based on that, if it's saying like this is the new function, so which statement describes the change? Well, the new function is higher than the old function, which means F. Okay? All right, number 25. The graph of the quadratic passes through these points. Your goal is to look at every one of these and see if these points match the data that you see. So the first thing that I would do is remember that it's x comma y. So you need to see your x's that look like these numbers. Now this is all wrong because it looks like they've switched x and y. Okay. If we come down here, let's see if this one looks right. Does negative 4 go to 32? Does 3 go to 4? Yes. Does 5 go to 14? Yes. And does 7 go to 32? Okay, that definitely matches. And if you were to match up points here, it wouldn't work. If you were to look in the calculator in the Y1 and look at that picture, you could even go to the table. But if you do, it will not be these points. So D is your answer. Okay, number 26, what's the value of x? Okay, so this takes a lot of work, but guys, if you know how to do it, it's worth the time. These will be the longest problems that you have to deal with. I'm going to recopy them both down because the goal would be to get y by itself on both of them. So let me do one at a time. To get this y by itself, minus 6x, minus 6x. I'm going to bring this one down. These are now gone. 13 minus 6x, you can't do much with that, but recopy it. And then we need the 3 off the y, so we're going to divide everybody by 3, okay? This is your equation. This is what you're going to put into y1. And remember, if you want to type it in just like you see it, you can hit the alpha, which is the green button. So you could hit alpha, y equals, enter. And it will automatically pop up a little calculator thing that looks kind of like that. And then you can just type in the top, type in the bottom, okay? Now over here we're going to do the same thing, get the y by itself. So I need to minus 3x, minus 3x. These are now gone. Bring this one down. These you can't put together. I'm just going to recopy them. Now I need the negative off the y, so divide by negative 1, okay? So now this is your equation for y2. So same thing that I did here. Go to y2, alpha, y equals, enter, and then type it all in. So if you do that, let me give you a minute to type it in. And after you type it in, you need to hit second, calc, 5, enter, enter, enter. And some of y'all have that memorized by now. Most of y'all have that memorized by now. If not, worth memorizing, because this is going to tell you exactly what this is asking. What is the x in the solution? It's where the two lines are going to cross. And this is going to help you find it. So, if you do all that right, then you will get the correct answer. Okay, number 27, what is the 0 of the linear function graphed below? Okay, so 0, another word for 0. We actually have a list of them. We listed them out last week on one of our notes guides. This is the same as solution, which is also the same as an x-intercept. So an x-intercept is where do I cross the x-axis? Well, here's the x-axis, and I'm crossing right here. So where is right here? 1. That's all you had to put for this answer. Number 28, here's the function. It's a parabola, and here's the equation that goes with it. What are the values of x when x squared plus x minus 6 equals negative 4? So it's saying when is this equal to negative 4? Well, if you want to see when it equals negative 4, there's two ways you can do this problem. You can either go to negative 4, this would be the y value, okay? You could go to negative 4 and draw a line and just look at what are these two, okay? And that would get you the answer pretty quick, which is a 1 and a negative 2. So what would that be? I guess that would be G. The only other way that I think you could do this is, you know, you could work backwards. If you want to just take the number negative 4 and the number 6 and plug it in separately and see if it equals negative 4, you could do that also. That would take a little bit more time, but it would work. So like if you, like this one, we know 1's going to work. So like you would do 1 squared plus 1 minus 6. And that does equal negative 4. So you could check it that way as well. But you'd also have to check this one and do the same thing. Okay, so this is a little safer just to use the picture. All right, number 29. Store manager begins the shift with so much money, keeps 200 in a safe, and then takes the rest and distributes it. Okay, so what does X represent? Okay, so just kind of looking at this and reading through the problem, that looks like whatever she began with, because then we're taking away the 200 and then we're dividing out the 5 cashiers. So it's something that looks like that, which is A, the total money that the manager has at the beginning of the shift. Okay, number 30. What is the equation in standard form of the line passes through the point? Okay, oh my gosh, there's a lot of options here. There's a lot of information here. Now, if you tried to get the y by itself in every single problem, that is one way to do it, and you could look for which of them has this and which of them has this, okay? The quick way to do this is to go, you know what? I got equations, and I have a point, because remember, a point is an x and a y. So this is literally saying that x is 1 and y is 24. So I would take each of my equations over here and just plug those in. So I would do 3 times the x. So in the spot of x, I'm putting that 1, plus 5 times the y, which is 24. And I'm just going to figure out, like, what does that equal? Because all of these match. So once you type this in, you'll know which one it is. So 5 times 24 is 120, and then plus the 3, 123. So it's going to be H. That's the quick way. Okay, which coordinate pair is the solution, or is in the solution set for this? Okay, if you want to type this in the calculator, what you're going to see is a graph that kind of looks like this. Okay, and so it's going to be like super steep, and it's going to be something like that. Now, why am I doing a dotted line instead of a normal line? Well, this right here. Remember, this symbol is going to tell you dotted versus solid, and it's only solid if you see a solid line under it, okay? And then it's going to tell you how to shade. So it's saying that y is less than all that. Well, less than. Should I shade bottom or should I shade top? Less than means small, which means to me the bottom. So I'm going to shade everything underneath that curve. And what you want to do is look at all of these points and see which one is in the red shaded area. So 1, 0 is not. 1, negative 1 is not. 0, 1 is on the line, but it's not in the shaded, so it's going to be D. 32, which graph is not a function? Okay, I know it says it in a fancy way, but not a function is what you should focus on. And remember, this we had a vertical line test. So here you just draw a bunch of vertical lines, and you see, do you cross your graph more than once or once? It's okay to cross it once. This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. But this is not okay because you cross the graph like a lot of times, okay? So this one would be not a function. Okay, the graph of line P is blah. If the slope is multiplied by 10 to create line R, which statement about the two graphs is true? So what you're going to want to do is first take a look at the one that they give you in the calculator, and then underneath it, you're going to type in the new equation that does whatever they told you to do to it. So if they're saying, okay, we need to multiply the slope by -10, then that's what's going down here. Now, which of these two numbers is slope? Well, if you don't remember, look on your formula chart, okay? The m is the slope. So the number with x is slope. So I'm going to take this number and times it by -10. So I would just type it in the calculator like this. I would type -10, and you can even use the parentheses, -10 times 1/5, then put the x, then -1. These are the two graphs that you are comparing. And then you just look at what it says here. Are the two lines going to intersect? Are they going to be parallel? Is one of them above the other one? Is one of them below the other one? And what should happen, hopefully, is that, if I'm doing this one right in my mind. So that's how that one works. And that's all that we have. So hopefully that makes sense. Go back and watch old videos over the first few problems, and we'll finish out the rest of the test over the next 2 days.